You take one day off. By noon, 4 messages hit your phone. Each a decision only you can make. You're not being a leader, you're choking your business. You see, the business only grows to whatever you can carry, and then it stops. You want to be a leader and not run all of it. So you did what they tell you. Delegate, build systems, hire a COO, and most never sticks. In 20 years, I've watched the founders who actually break through do this one thing. Leading isn't a mindset. It's not a workload problem. It's the one job you're still doing that routes every decision through you. In the next few minutes, I'll show you the 3 layers in order. If we haven't met, I'm JD Bach. I help 7 and 8 figure founders scale, sell, or step back by getting the order right. Your capacity first, and then your systems, one layer at a time. So you push harder. Head down more hours, and every hour that you pour into it, that's one more thing that stops working the second you step away. That drive building your future empire is now the hand holding it down. Your business has a gravity to it, and you're at the center of it. Every decision, standard, and final answer orbits you. The way planets orbit a star. It's not that your team sucks, it's that you built it this way. You picked up every dropped ball and trained every person and process to route through you. It's what I call founder gravity. That's the mechanism under all of it. So thinking like a leader was never about mindset. It's about what you're the center of. Hardest worker is the person every problem goes through. The driver, on the other hand, is the opposite. You own 2 things: where the company's headed and the standard the work has to reach. The day-to-day of running it, you hand to the people you've trained to carry it. Same person, but completely different job. That gap isn't a mindset you flip. It's a capacity that you build, one layer at a time. 3 layers: decisions, presence, focus, in that order. First one is sitting on your desk right now, disguised as work that was never yours to do. It's also the fastest win, which is why you start there. First layer is your decisions. And before I get into it, let me know in the comments if any of this sounds familiar, because there are 2 moves almost every founder makes first, and both of them backfire. The first one is delegating. You're exhausted, so you figure the fix is to try to do less yourself. You pick a few things off your desk, you hand them over, and within a few weeks, most of it boomerangs back, half done and wrong in a way you now have to unravel. So you take it all back and tell yourself the story every founder tries to convince themselves of. I tried delegating, but it doesn't work with my team. Then comes the bigger move. You hire a COO, someone experienced to save you from your soul-sucking drudgery. Months of recruiting, a salary that makes you squeamish. And on day 1, they sit at a nice new desk, but with nothing to run. No systems, no map. It's a business that lives nowhere but inside your head. Within a month, they're in your doorway with the same questions everyone brings you. You start sitting in on the Zoom calls you hired them to run because their judgment isn't your judgment yet. Next thing you know, they won't move without checking with you first, because being wrong once before already cost them. 6 months in, you're paying an executive salary for a very expensive note taker, wondering if you hired the wrong person. You didn't. To your dismay, you didn't hire a leader, you hired one more person who waits on you. Both fail for the same reason. Nobody ever told the team which decisions they're allowed to make on their own. Pricing tweaks, vendor choices, a client issue 3 levels below. They all route to you because there's no line, no SOP written that says otherwise. So the fix isn't to delegate more, it's to build the map. Every recurring decision gets a home. One's only you close, one's the team closes with a clear line for when to bring you in, and one's the team closes without you ever even hearing about it. The map is just paper, right? Capacity that makes it real is a habit you build in your own head. And it comes down to 7 words. When someone brings you a problem, instead of solving it, you ask, what are your 3 options and what do you recommend? That's it. You sit on the answer you can already see and you let them work to it. It's the 1-3-1, and the trigger fires 10 times a day, so you get a lot of reps quick. To help, draw a small 1-3-1 on the back of your hand for a couple of weeks so it stays top of mind. And letting go feels wrong at first. It's not weakness or a lack of discipline, it's a chemical. Every time you solve a problem, your brain hands you a little hit of dopamine, immediate and reliable. I call it the solver's high. When trying to let a decision go, you instead put back nothing but anxiety. Oh, will they get it right? I could have done that in 4 minutes. Dopamine reward loop has literally wired your brain to be the main problem solver. It's rewarding you to stay the hardest worker, which is why willpower alone never moves it. You're not fighting your team, you're fighting your nervous system. Without exaggeration, you're fighting an addiction. The map plus the habit is how you win that fight. And you'll feel the shift within a week. First time a decision closes and you never hear about it, something in you unclenches. You feel a huge weight lifted from you. That's your proof. A decision that closed without you. And the second layer is the one you can't fix with a map, because it's not about what you decide. It's about who you are when you walk into the office. This one runs the whole team while you're not even looking. Once you're out of the daily decisions, your team stops watching what you do and starts watching who you are, and your mood stops being private. People subconsciously take their cues from the top. So whatever state you walk in with, your attitude, your mood, your team catches it and copies it. You're the thermostat. You set the temperature whether you mean it or not. Now, you might be thinking about Steve Jobs, famously brutal, and it clearly worked. But his intensity wasn't just a temper he couldn't control. It was pointed at one thing: quality, standard of the word. And everyone around him knew exactly what he stood for. It's the layer. Hear this, not your mood. The signal you send on purpose. Problem was never that you're intense. It's that you leak. You walk in wound up about something that has nothing to do with your team, and within an hour, half of them have braced for an impact that isn't coming. And it doesn't stop at the door. The ones you set off, that you infect, carry it to the people you never even talked to. One bad 10 seconds reaches 30 others who weren't even around. I've watched that play out for 20 years, and it breaks the same way every time. So it doesn't mean feel less. It means choose what to do with what you feel. The fix is the 3-second pause before you react to bad news. And it isn't being soft, leaking what you put out instead of leaking it. Do that consistently, and the way you handle a bad morning shows up in meetings you're not even in. That's the standard running for you when you're not around. And be careful here. The third layer only shows up once you've got your time back, which is exactly why it catches you off guard. Problem it creates doesn't look like a problem. It looks like winning. So you get your time back and you start saying yes to things you previously didn't have time for. Good things. A new offer, a partnership, an acquisition opportunity that's eating 3 hours a week. None of them are inherently bad ideas, and that's exactly the trap. Hardest worker can't help but fill the empty space with more work. The driver, on the other hand, guards it for the few bets that actually move the business. So the final layer is your focus, and it needs a hard filter because your judgment is now the scarcest thing the business has. The filter. The fix is this: every time a good new thing shows up, before you say yes, you name what dies to make room for it. What's the trade-off? If you can't name what you're killing off to make space for it, you're not choosing, you're stacking. And stacking is how you end up with 11 priorities and nothing actually moving. So count your live initiatives right now. Go ahead, count the real ones with a team and a budget. More than 5 isn't a priority list. It's a wish list. And this is the layer that decides whether the first 2 layers even mattered. You can get every decision off your plate, walk in calm every morning, and still aim all the freed up time and capacity at 10 good things going nowhere. You risk becoming a well-rested founder running a business that isn't going anywhere. Focus is what turns the time you bought back into direction. Now, once your decisions have a map, your presence sets the standard, and your focus is on the vision, you can finally do what all this was for. You hand the operating machine to a layer beneath you. Not a COO you hire into nothingness, people already on your team. Each running a small piece of the day-to-day while you keep the only 2 things that were ever really yours. Where's it headed? And the standard, how good the work has to be. That handoff is what makes stepping out real. It's the difference between a business that runs on the standard you set and one that still runs on the hours you put in. There will come a day when you still need to hire a COO. But you might be surprised to find you can get a lot done by giving your existing team small pieces of that role to hold on to until that point. That handoff only holds if you build the layers in order. Decisions, presence, focus. Layers aren't the secret. I told you that up front. Order is. It's what separates the founder who gets out from the ones who burn another year trying. It's all about capacity first. You build the capacity to let go of a piece, and then the person on your team builds the capacity to hold it. And now you put the system under them so it runs without you. And then it gets tested first difficult week and it holds. Only then do you reach for the next layer. That's the difference between the hardest worker and the leader. One carries every piece and calls it leadership. The other runs the sequence and lets it hold before reaching for the next layer. You can't think your way into that. You build your way into it. It's in sequence with proof at every step. And of course, this isn't all of leadership. Hiring the right people, holding them to standards, growing them, that still matters. None of it works while every decision, mood, and yes still runs through you. Get out of the center first. That's what the rest stands on. Remember that cable, the founder gravity? This is how you cut it. Working less won't do it. You move yourself out of the center, one layer at a time, until the business runs on the standard you set instead of the hours you put in. Working harder just makes the business need you to work that much harder, and that loop doesn't break on its own. 3 layers: decisions, presence, focus, in that order. But before you build a single layer, you need to know where the gravity is strongest, because you don't start with the layer that bugs you most. You start with the one routing the most through you. That's the number almost no one ever looks at. And that's the thing you can't eyeball from the parking lot. You can map all of this yourself over the next few weeks, watching which decisions boomerang back and which problems still find you while you're at your daughter's ballet recital, or you can see it in your own numbers in about 10 minutes. Founder Dependence Diagnostic shows you exactly how much of your business is still routing through you, which part it still can't move without you for a single day, and the one thing this whole video has been building to. Where to start first? It's in the description. So run the diagnostic, find your first constraint, and start there this week. You already have the first move, the 131. 10 reps a day, starting tomorrow. Remember, at $1 million, 4 flips. You were never the hardest worker because the business needed one. You're the hardest worker because you never built the thing that would let it run without one. The grind isn't proof you're leading. It's the bill for the layer you skip. I'll see you in the next one.